Hi, this is Timothy with Keebomed, and in this video we're going to get a little more familiar with the Chison ECO1 Ultrasound by looking at its layout and features. First, let's take a look at the keyboard layout. The keyboard is set up to allow quick and easy use. The majority of the keys are one-touch keys that simplify the operation and save time. Now in the upper left corner is the power button, and just press it for a few seconds and the ultrasound will power up. Now one of the first things you may notice is how the keyboard layout is really simple and designed for use with one hand. It is really easy to navigate using the trackball, which is about centered right on the keyboard. And then the keys that surround the trackball have been placed so that they can be easily accessed quickly while scanning patients. Let's take a closer look at the keys surrounding the trackball and take note of their functions. First, we have the Enter key, which is used to make selections when using the trackball. Then next to that, we have the Calc key. Pressing this allows the ability to enter the measurement software package and then select a preferred choice. Then we have the Trace key, and by pressing this key it allows to make specific measurements based on a traced area. And then next to the Trace key we have the Distance key. Press this key to make measurements of a desired distance. Then at the top in the middle here we have a Menu knob. Press this knob to enter a specific menu. And while in the menu, the knob can then be rotated to a desired function. Press down on the knob again, a selection can be made, and then adjusted by rotating the knob. Then finally pressing the knob a third time will exit the selection. Next to the knob here we have the Change key. This key is used to change between menus. Then we have the Cursor key, which looks like an arrow. By pressing this it will show or hide the cursor on the screen. Then we have the Exit key. Press this key at any time to exit menus and measurements, and then return to the main imaging screen. And then finally we have the Update key, which can be used for several functions. It can either be used to make selections on certain menus, to change between the starting and ending point while making measurements, or to go back to the previous point while using the trace function. Next, you'll notice that there are three other knobs that are close to the center group of keys. First, over here we have our angle and zoom knob. Simply rotate to adjust the angle or zoom, and then press the knob to change the function between angle or zoom. Then over here we have our gain knob, which is used to adjust the gain of the B mode and the M mode. And then over here we have our depth and focus knob. And again, simply rotate to adjust the depth or focus position, and then press to change between depth and focus. Now above the center group of keys here, we also notice that there are different imaging modes. First we have our B mode, then we have our BB mode, next to that we have our 4B mode, and then finally we have our M mode, or it can be also switched from M mode to BM mode. Let's now look at the group of keys that's found on the left side of the keyboard. First we have our probe key, which allows to switch between different probes and specific examinations for a selected probe. Next is the patient key. By pressing this key you can set up new patient information such as name, gender, doctor, age, and other information. This is the setup key, which allows access and customizing of all the system settings. The End key is used when an exam is finished and it clears the screen for the start of a new exam. Then we have the Body Mark key, which is used when an image is frozen. It allows selecting specific body marks. This key is for the Comments. This will allow the ability to enter comments on an image. Next is the Arrow key, which adds arrows to an image wherever needed. Then the Delete key, which clears measurement lines, body marks, and comments. This key is for the Archives. It accesses the file management system where patient data can be viewed and edited. Next to that is the Report key. which will allow you to produce, save, or recall an examination report. And then finally, we have two print keys down below, which allows multiple printers to be used to print reports or images. Now if you notice our keyboard, you will see that it is a full function keyboard and very similar to a keyboard found on a computer, which makes it very easy to use. Above the keyboard is a group of keys that are used to control specific parameters. Now these controls depend on what functions are being used at the time on the ultrasound. Now as you can see, each set of keys corresponds to a specific function that can either be increased or decreased by pressing up or down. Now for example, this is in B mode right now, and here we see with this key is a probe frequency that can be changed either up or down. Next we have dynamic that can be adjusted either up or down. And then finally at the end we have persistence that can be adjusted up or down. Next, let's look at the right side of the keyboard. First we have an 8-segment STC control. It can be used for adjusting gain compensation and different image depths. Now below the STC control is the AIO key, which stands for Automatic Image Optimization. This is a really nice feature because it will automatically adjust the settings to produce the best image. Next, below that we have the left and right and up and down image invert keys. This key is the Cine Save key, and by pressing it, it will save a current Cine loop. Next to that is the Image Save key that will save the current image. And finally, this key is the Freeze key that will allow the image to be frozen or unfrozen. The final feature to highlight is the indicator lights that are above the STC control. From left to right is the adapter indicator. This will light up when the unit is connected to power. Next is the charge indicator that will light up when the battery is charging. When it is finished charging, the light will go out. And then the last indicator is the sleep indicator. When in sleep mode, the indicator will be lit up. There's an additional feature on the bottom right corner of the screen that can be very valuable. This is the machine status indicator. On the top row from left to right is the hard disk capacity, or the USB capacity if it is being used. Next to that is the cable network to show the status of the current network. And then finally the USB will show whether a USB drive is connected or not. As you can see, a USB drive is not connected because there is a small X at the bottom. Now in the bottom row from left to right is the language input method. The one in the middle is the task manager, and then finally the power source. Now if a battery is being used, it will show a battery indicator instead of the plug. The ECO1 has great connectivity options. On the left side of the ultrasound there are 6 specific ports. Starting at the top we have an Ethernet port. Next is a VGA port. Then there are 2 USB ports. This is a foot switch port. And finally, a power port. Now let's take a look at the back of the ECO1 Ultrasound and see some additional ports that are found standard on this machine. Now as you notice on the back of the machine, we have our probe ports. One of them is standard, whereas 2 is optional. Directly below that is a USB port, a remote port, and a video out port. And at the very bottom of the machine is the battery holder, and at the top we have 2 probe holders. So overall, the design of the ECO1 is very simple and appealing. The large 12-inch LED screen produces large clear images, and it also has the ability for the angle to be adjusted from 0 to 30 degrees. Notice how easy it can be done. The keyboard also easily folds up and locks into place, and it is very lightweight, allowing the ultrasound to be carried by the strong handle that is at the top, and then transported wherever necessary. So these are just some of the basic layout and features of the Chison ECO1 Ultrasound. For more information or to purchase this model, please visit our website today.